welcome in. You're listening to a weekend special on the Courtnall Economics Report, originating from the Cambridge House International Investment Conference in Vancouver, British Columbia. I think you're going to find this interview to be perhaps conversation is a better way to put it, to be one of the more interesting ones that we've done. I'm talking with a gentleman by the name of Geoff Courtnall. Geoff is almost a household name. Don't mean to make you sound like a real big shot, just a big shot. Geoff is almost a household name in Canada. NHL hockey player, played on the BC
Vancouver Canucks, Edmonton Oilers.
Little edit here.
St. Louis Blues, played in the NHL for 17 years.
Played a whole bunch of hockey, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about how Geoff got involved in the mining industry. Geoff retired, if I'm not mistaken, in 2000. And went on to do a fair amount of philanthropic work. All of our regular listeners are aware of the passion that Kathy and I have in terms of doing that type of work. We work a lot with mentally handicapped children and have for probably the last 30 years or so. I didn't know this, but that's a passion of yours also. Let's talk about that first, and then let's talk about how that ties into the mining industry.
I've done a lot of work here. It's been, a blessing to have a career that I had for 17 years playing in the NHL, and probably the greatest thrill is to have been able to give back. And here in Vancouver, I started the Courtnall Classic Society, which first was a fishing derby, which we raised money for Canuck Place, which is a hospice for terminally ill children. We raised $3 million for that hospice back in 1994-95. And then most recent is the Courtnall Classic Golf Tournament, which has been held in Victoria, 3 of the last 5 years, and we've raised a lot of money for mental health, which in our family, it's affected us. My dad committed suicide when I was 15, and so it's great. We built a emergency facility there, and when we first opened 5 years ago, we saw 150 patients a month, and now we see 650. And it's for our community and for BC, it's been something that's raised awareness and hopefully has helped some families in this area.
And from there, you raised a fair amount of money from members of the mining industry, and that's how your interest developed.
Yeah, in the early 90s, a lot of the guys who supported the Courtnall Classic Fishing Derby were Yorkton employees, and that was when Diamond Fields and Boise Bay and Stikine and a lot of these companies were having huge runs. So we raised a lot of money, and I got introduced to investing in mining companies and also different industries, and I've always played in that, loved business, loved different investment opportunities, and that was how I ended up basically being interested in Lupaka, which is the company that I'm the founder of.
Switching horses, let's talk a little bit about Lupaka. Lupaka has a major deposit in Peru, well in excess of 2 million ounces, 43,101. You've got a great president in terms of Eric Anderson. He's been around the block a few times. Let's have a brief description, overview, for lack of better terms, if you would, Geoff, about Lupaka.
Well, when I first founded the company, I founded it with my partner, Gordon Ellis, who's a geophysicist and has been in the business for 40 years. He and I went to Peru right after the Olympics when I was introduced to the Peruvian family, which were one of the shareholders of the group that owned the property. We walked the property, looked at the drill core, saw visible gold, did a 43-101 and spent a bunch of money personally on basically getting it ready, bought the rights to it for $10 million, came home, raised a lot of money privately, and then did an IPO a year and a half ago and raised $20 million. And now in the Cuchero property alone, we're probably north of 2 million ounces. But including the merger we did with Andean American, we're up over 3 million ounces now proven of gold. So it's very exciting.
Let's talk about plans for the rest of 2013. What are you going to do with that 3 point some million ounces of reserves that you've got?
Well, we're in a great position now. We've got a lot of cash. I think we have 11 million in cash right now in the bank. The assets we got from Andean American, there's a lot of interest in those, and whether we sell those or do something with them in the near future, that's up to Eric Edwards, who's our CEO, who's doing a great job. And then I also, Southern Legacy, we're the largest shareholder of Southern Legacy, which is a copper asset close to Yanacocha, which also is another project that a lot of people are interested in. And then we're really going to focus on Cruchero. We're confident now, Zone 1, over 2 million ounces. You'll see a new 43-101 come out in the first quarter of that, and then Zone 7 and 8 and Zones 3, 4, and 5 will be drilling in, probably April. And those are the areas where we hope to find another Zone 1, and if we do, I think that you'll see a lot of interest on this company.
So Geoff, correct me if I'm wrong, but the company in total has significantly more than 3 million ounces. When you take all of the properties, you're up somewhere around what?
Well, I think realistically, we're still saying it's, north of 3 million ounces, and then we'll see what our new 43-101 comes out at this quarter. But I think, we've got a great position with cash. I think, we've got enough for 3 years of exploration with all our assets, and I think that it's an interesting time right now for this industry, and I think that companies like us that have a lot of strength and have a great project have got a lot of potential.
I would agree 100%. A couple things I want you guys to take away from this interview. One of them is you get some insight into the personalities of successful people in the mining industry, okay? And to me that's really important. One of the reasons that Big Al is involved in this industry is because of people who have the same interests as I do, and Geoff certainly falls into that category. Lupaka Gold, I have to say, in the interest of full disclosure, I did buy shares in the company out of the open market some time ago, and Lupaka is a sponsor on our website. What does that mean? That means if you want more information on this company, click on their banner. Geoff, thanks so much, my friend.
Thanks a lot, Al.